I'm Nick, and welcome to Storytime, Alan Moore's The Courtyard. This is Alan's take on H.P Lovecraft, which is a shared universe contributed to by many writers over many years. And after this, there are two more stories that follow in his same little corner of the universe, Neonomicon and Providence, which will follow this episode. I'd like to mention a channel that inspired me to begin this show, Horror Show Mickey. He did adaptations of Junji Ito comics until Junji's media company took him down with copyright strikes last year. He told a great story, and if you're out there, Mickey, we miss you. This series of horror stories, which will also include Grant Morrison's take on Lovecraft, Nameless, is dedicated to him. What we do is a legal gray area. Fair use is always in dispute on YouTube, and small channels have very little power against large corporations. I hope the fact that I make no money from what I do, and I never plan to, will protect me. Nothing happens in the pages we've seen, as I've told you all this. It's just setting the scene. So let's jump in when the narration begins. Now, this being a Lovecraft story, the main character is a rather vile racist, so please forgive some of the language I'm about to use when performing his narration. It is intended that you not like this person much, as bad things are probably going to happen to him. Also, as this is such a short comic, only 2 issues, I've removed a few pages to speed the story along, but I'll just perform all of what is left. I don't plan to make a habit of this format. 2004, Farrakhan Day. Clinton Street, down in Red Hook, is striped cobalt as 10,000 fireworks explode over Brooklyn. The residents have been petitioning almost 10 years for a name change, since our chief executive fucked up Syria in '95. 10,000 fireworks over Damascus. Our rooming house is a shared bathroom. This morning, when I went to shave, there was shit in the wash basin. When I turned on the water to sluice it away, I discovered it was also on the faucets. Germaine, the schizophrenic in the next room, with only a hardboard partition dividing us. We're getting horribly close to full cohabitation. She's 35. Hippie parents. Germaine, Jesus Christ. They probably ran the poor cunt through a gauntlet of crank educational fads, taught her drugs and free love are okay, then divorced. Fine for them. They're not woken by Germaine's imaginary pals every morning at 5. My feelings concerning Germaine's mom and pop are exactly the same as I had for their daughter while shaving. I just wish these people would clean up their own shit once in a while. I can hear the spear chuckers partying from under the Harlem Dome even from here. Slabs of bass shuddering out down the river. They mix with distinct ambulance sirens and shimmering science fiction voluntaries. Is it just me who finds sirens beautiful? Miserable Wagnerian divas, threatening fire, plague, or murder. Just over the street is a rundown pachinko arcade where the neighborhood flat dealer juggles his junk. I catch this on the nanocam wadded in gum on my room's window ledge. Did I mention already that I was a Fed? What I'm bothered about is the depth of my cover on this. Only Perlman in Washington knows I'm here. Carl Perlman's an asshole. I'm running on black time here, and black time's not good for me, pension-wise. Perlman wanted me here for a reason. It's not that he likes me. He told Ed Byrne I was a smug little Nazi. It's just that I have high abstract patterning skills, so I get all the Twilight Zone jobs. What I do, it's anomaly theory. I go through evidence carefully, winnowing out the most troublesome details. Obscure little fragments that don't fit our profiles and thus get overlooked. Right now, I look at the photographs. All 15 are identical. Now here's the pisser. We pulled in a 20-year-old bookstore clerk from Seattle. His brother-in-law found 12 human hands individually wrapped in the freezer and some in the bureau. The clerk coughed for 6 murders, no question. We naturally figured, well, with the distinctive M.O., we could get him to cop for the other 9 sooner or later. No, he insisted he'd only done 6. It was here we began to encounter problems. The first was this wino we picked up for vagrancy. Turned out he was carrying 3 heads in a Kmart bag. Just like Confused of Seattle, he owned up to 3 of the crimes. Only 3. We assumed it was some copycat thing, but it turned out the murder details had been kept from the press. Furthermore, neither man knew of the other. It's all some unlikely coincidence, right? Of the 6 unattributed victims left, 4 are related. A grandma, a mother and father, and their 9-year-old daughter. The surviving son has suddenly moved to confess that he whacked the whole bunch, kept their thumbs as mementos. 3 culprits for 13 identical murders, with 2 further killings as yet unaccounted for. No proof, no direct links between the accused. Is that fucked up or what? Here's where I come in. Anomaly theory. 2 series killings, 1 multiple murder, the family job. 3 white males, aged 15, 20, and 38. One's a vagrant, one works at a bookstore, and one's still at school. No connection. Stephen, the 15-year-old who dismembered his folks, sis and grandma, is bright and likes classical music. There's only one rock album in his extensive collection, the Ulthar Cats. Noisy, obscure, New York artifacts. They suck. He also writes songs on his guitar, then does the god-awful scat singing over the top. Not my taste. Confused with Seattle, he doesn't like music at all. He just reads, mostly old horror paperbacks, Poe, stuff like that. Tucked halfway through Legelia, we find this old ticket says Club Zothique, used as a bookmark. Confused has a spelling disorder. He writes stuff, short stories, but half the words are just gibberish. Judging by his earlier work, which is lucid, this trend is a recent thing. Our wino, Roy, can't read and hates music, but unlike the other two, he is using drugs. Mild ones, admittedly. We found a baggie of something called DMT-7 concealed in his rectum, a weak hallucinogen. He got higher on Ripple. Roy makes terrible sounds in his sleep, but what else is fresh? Brooklyn's bulging with noise in the street, and outside people are kissing and fighting, fucking each other up. So, there's a noise album owned by a kid with a strong predilection for Mahler, a club ticket found in a bookworm who never goes out, a confirmed alcoholic with happy dust jammed up his ass. That's anomaly theory. The next part is largely intuitive. Having selected your set of anomalous facts, you will find new connections arising, which, in my experience, often yield data more useful than that gained by orthodox means. Christ, it's hot. Club Zothique, for example, is here in Red Hook. It's a new music hangout, well on the way to becoming the new CBGBs. The Ulthar Cats seem to play here every couple of weeks, including tonight. All the kids there do drugs, mostly speed, weed, and flack. But there's something else, too. Something they call the white powder. I scored a few grams from this 7-foot spade. The scanalysis says it's DMT-7. The scanalysis says it's DMT-7. Not much of a drug as drugs go. In the natural form, DMT is produced in the brain, which therefore has a natural system to cope with the substance and flush it away. The mild trips last around 15 minutes. I plunge into an amphetamine field of concussive music and light, full of underage heat. A support band from Cleveland, the Yellow Sign, are wrapping up a cacophonous set as I make for the bar. Joey Face. Joey's probably my age, which is to say 30. I've known him a week. He used to deal ecstasy under the nom de guerre Rex Morgan, MDMA, but it's agony now. Joey suffers from amphetamine psychosis, drinks without getting drunk to keep hallucinations at bay. It's too bad. I'm informed he was once a great dancer. What's this song called? Lang or Long or something? You don't rate them? They're plastic. They're writing the whole Ulthar Cats thing, but they're posing, not using Aclo. Obvious. Aclo. Some kind of drug. Or its street name? Aclo? These pussies? Where would they get Aclo? Same place as everybody else. His name's Johnny Carcosa. He looks young. You ever get Aclo off this kid? Fuck no. I got enough problems already with flashbacks and booze. As for young, somebody told me Carcosa was 40. To scattered applause from their girlfriends and pets, the support band go off, and the Ulthar Cats slouch on stage. The floor is engulfed by a riptide of puberty casualties, and they start making animal noises. It's fucking grotesque. Hello, Red Hook. Great to be here again. This is called Zon Variations. If I remember their CD correctly, her name's Randolph Carter. In Cobble Yard, through the smashed ties of a derelict warehouse, old violence play. Where Smoke River Factory black crawls below the stone bridges, old violence play. And the crippled dogs whine in their sleep all along Rue de Sail. Like I said, not my taste. Crash Bridlick Islands, crawl young southern young fag in cracked rewind yards. Below sleep with Riley and Tiki. That's Aclo. I guess Randolph took it before she came on. Sorry to itch you, man. Joey Face said I should talk to you if I was looking for anything. Joey Face is an asshole who takes too much ecstasy. What's he want, anyway? When he speaks, though you can't see his lips, a faint ripple of breath stirs the sheer lemon film of his veil. I must look like a fed in this crowd of 14-year-olds. Up close, Johnny Carcosa could be anywhere between 20 and 50, those acne tracks, plastic surgery scars. His voice, genderless, ageless. What have you got? I got it all. How about this? It's a cock ring from Innsmouth. Pickman's a genius, man. You see this? I want Aclo, man. Joey said you could get Aclo. Joey said that? Well, I certainly can't throw you anything here. See me later. At 3 o'clock in that tenement courtyard that runs off Court Street. He turns and walks off. I'm dismissed. It's just 1 o'clock now. Farrakhan Day was over at midnight. The Indigo Fusillade is silent abruptly. I walk back uphill along Clinton Street to the one public fax booth that hasn't been pissed in or firebombed outside Borough Hall. I dial Perlman in Washington. He won't be there, but my access code punches me through to the bulletin board where my round-the-clock update is posted. I enter the booth's number, and through pursed lips it distorts a reel roughly 8 pages long, which I roll up to fit in my overcoat. I hear a faint hiss from the dome high above me. It's raining. The update contains 3 items, including a brief note from Perlman. The next item is an account of child smuggling here in Red Hook. A Detective Malone of the NYPD named the Waterfront Church, now Club Zafik, as being involved. That was in 25. There was seemingly talk at one time of some Satanist thing, but the chief suspect, one Robert Suidam, expired before charges were brought. 24 cops died when the house they were raiding collapsed. The last printout concerns FBI operations up in Massachusetts around 2 years later, 1927-28. The connection appears to be Suidam. Shortly before his demise, he ordered ritual artifacts from a remote gold refinery in the backwater seaport of Massachusetts. The town's name is blacked out, classified, obviously. The offense seems vaguely defined and involves interbreeding, a morals case more than a federal matter in my book. The document grows more evasive with each line. There were lots of arrests, but for what is unclear. There's no charges, no trials. The description degenerate frequently used here could mean almost anything. These were the Hoover days. There's good old J. Edgar himself. Where? Oh, I get it. This must be the classified seaport. But what the hell is that? Carl Perlman sent me these because he thinks some cult thing is involved, some satanic thing. Even though of our 3 culprits, one's a Baptist and the other 2 Catholic. Perlman's a know-nothing kike. Still, that thing in the photograph is interesting. Just after 2:35, next door, Germaine engages in a loud disagreement with someone. No, David. No, it looks like a rug on your head and you can't go on TV looking like that. All your guests will laugh at you. David, you can be so stupid sometimes. Takes me a minute to realize that David is Letterman. Guess it's time to go out and meet Johnny Carcosa again. Takes me 10 minutes to walk around to Court Street and 10 more to find the address. 3 old tenement buildings, their brick turned the color of scab, eye each other across the bleak courtyard. Hypodermics crunch underfoot, frosting the cobbles with glass and a scintillant Disney dust. 1,000 points of light. Cul-de-sac trash can enclosures dab ghostfish and hornet-hung fruit on night pulse points. The tenements huddle, guard hideous warmth. That mural, it seems to stretch into the wall. I hope that's a tree in the foreground. Come on up. An inverted whirlpool of concrete and shadow, the tenement stairwell is dragging me up from the lampless seabed of the ground floor. Unoccupied. Nothing can live with those terrible pressures. Through wife beatings, bad food, and baby screams fathomed above. Hey, sorry about all the stairs, man. Them fuckers. Look, they won't send guys down here to fix up our elevators anymore. It occurs to me maybe he has a hair lip or some similar oral complaint, thus explaining both Carcosa's faggoty lisp and his yellow concealing bandana. From the smell, someone's been cooking their shoes. Hello? Go back in your room, Mom. It's okay. This guy is my friend. Ninghai Yaris. Ninghai? Ninghai's asshole. What the fuck? Don't mind Mama. She's set in her old country ways. We'll go into my room where it's comfortable. Some kind of queer undertone here I don't care for. His room stinks of incense and aftershave, and something else. Something pungent and bitter. A reptile house perfume. Something's itching me. What Johnny said to his mother out there in the hall sounded not unlike all that word salad dished up by the Ulthart cats earlier, which I'd assumed was the Aclo drug doing its stuff. Just coincidence? More Pickman prints. This one actually seems rather witty. It borrows from Bruegel and Bosch, but transposes their horrors to Bolsian Street subway. In style, he resembles Rousseau. Okay, man. Try some. What the fuck? This is DMP7, I'm sure of it. How can this crap be Aclo? This stuff lasts 10 minutes or less, and that dyke from the Ulthar cats twitched and sang nonsense for over an hour. Have I got it all wrong? Johnny, This isn't Aklo.
Of course this isn't Aclo. It's just a white powder, man. You have to take this stuff before I can give you the Aclo. How much did you want, anyways?
Uh, 2 or 3 hits?
Sure, that's $150 new. Now, do a line of the powder and I'll set you straight.
What the fuck's going on here? I want them to take away with me, Johnny.
You'll take 'em away when I've given 'em to you, but I can't do that till you snort the white powder.
Okay, if needs be. I've ingested worse things than DMT-7 when duty demanded. I needn't try anything else. Johnny promised I could take the Aklo away. The subdued rush brings with it a vivid and colorful foam of hypnagogic imagery rising inside my eyelids. It's nothing I feel I can't handle. I just need to open my eyes and the river of mind cartoons ceases. The Aklo. You said I could have it.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes and I'll give you the Aclo. Wazah, yay.
The word bursts inside me like summer thunder, sends scarabs and swastikas rippling over the screen of my eyelids. Wazah, yay. A mental floor gives way beneath me. I realize I know what the word means, have known all along. Wazah, yay is a word for the negative conceptual space left surrounding a positive concept, the class of things larger than thought, being what thought excludes. It applies to so many things, not just anomaly theory, but everything that is conceived. I'm still reeling, eyes closed from the resonances and implications, when yellow silk brushes my ear, and another word is murmured, not drawn from the world's common tongues, and without an equivalent.
Do, na.
I drink it in, breathless. A force which defines, lends significance to the receptacle, as with the hand in the glove, wind in the mill veins, the guest or the trespasser crossing a threshold and giving it meaning. Do, na. How could I have forgotten? A pinwheel of nautilus fronds is dissolved into sparks by my vitreous humor as huge old grammatical structures collapse into place. Aklo isn't a drug. There's no drug with mind-altering properties halfway as powerful. Aklo is a language. Syntax, the primal vocabulary giving form to those pre-conscious orderings wrung from a hot incoherence of stars. From our birth muds pooled in Grandmother Lagoon, a stark, limited palette of earliest notions, lost colors, forgotten intensities. Johnny Carcosa delivers the third hit, one more chain of terrible syllables lisped in my ear. You're, her. New dendrites twitch blindly together, unthinkable fusions occurring. Beneath me, a vortex of marvelous coinage is opened. I let go and fall. Now it's later. How long have I been here? The drug is worn off, but my mouth is still filled with new language. I open my eyes. From his chair by the writing desk, Johnny Carcosa is watching me closely. Events have a new continuity now. Disassociate clusters of data in pregnant post-linear arrays. My first steps up the tenement stairs are embedded in those taken now to depart. Paying Johnny is folded around buying Joey Face a beer. I'm in Court Street. I must have left Johnny Carcosa's apartment already, which can more properly be seen as an extended arrival. The wazah-yay of this is, of course, that the future extrudes a curtailing force into the present. It comes to me that, in reality, I am a memory of myself, trudging a memory of Court Street, this construct encrusted within a much larger where I'm already in Clinton Street, near the Pachinko Arcade, almost home. All events are time roses, the clenched fuck uncrumpling into a life as the species folds back to Analytian ancestors. There lies our Dona, a meaning bestowed retroactively by forms as yet unachieved, but implicit. I see that the Logiar are simply ourselves, yet unfolded in time to an utter condition beyond the fatagan of our usual perceptions. Time being a function of matter, this freeing of ultimate forms may be hastened by pertinent sculpture. I now grasp that this isn't Clinton Street, nor is it truly me walking across it. We're both merely part of a verbalized reconstruction I'm making to you as I stand here, bent above you, Germain. I want you to know that the tape on your mouth isn't there to prevent you from making a noise. It's to stop the donut flowing in through the wrong aperture, which, of course, could spoil everything for you. I know you're still worrying over your hands, but please don't. They're quite safe, I assure you. The thing is to focus yourself on the waza-ye, the concept of not hands. No, no, don't black out. There, that's better. I want you to watch this part closely. This is the unfolding, from Glaki to Loggior. We make the first cut, the Yinghai, just here. Now, Kinghua equaling Yinghai are tickled to Mingha, Uguth, and Yoigolanak. Ninghai, Fikahagan, Yuk, Relay, Aya, Jiharn, Epigra, Tigoth, Nialehai, Yagwa, Shakai, Humak, Jonah, Gil, Ganai, Her Yinger, Shogoth, Her Yinger, Nyarla Hotep, Mirnsa, Taliki Li, Ikolanak, Rurnsa, Herlai, Cthulhu, Herlai, Cthulhu, Ying Step, Battalion. Well, things didn't work out too well for our federal agent, did they? That always seems to happen to Lovecraftian protagonists, more often than not. But fear not, he'll soon be taken into the care of his own federal agency, and he'll show up in the next story, Neonomicon, as a minor character in federal custody as more agents get involved, and he'll still be speaking only in Aklo. That should be coming along pretty soon, and then a third story that's much longer at 12 issues, Providence, which features a young H.P. Lovecraft getting his initial inspirations. The title, The Courtyard, is more referring to the book itself than anything in the book, as it is the entrance path to Alan's weird little corner of the Lovecraft shared universe. And having heard the story, you're in the courtyard right now. Do you dare go further in? I must warn you, it won't get more pleasant. But if so, then join me soon for Alan Moore's Neonomicon.